Bill Hazeman, and I want to thank everybody for being here this morning. If I could ask a brief favor as we get ready to start, if you would, if you can hear me talking, and if you're familiar with the GoToWebinar interface, you have an ability to raise your hand. If you would raise your hand for me, if you can hear me, I would appreciate it very much. Look at that. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Laura. Yep, Cindy. Laura, thank you very much. I will go ahead and put those hands down. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So I guess the first thing I want to do is say thank you to everybody for being here today. In fact, I think that I will, for our little greeting here, let's let you see my face. Hello. I'd like to say thank you for joining us. And today, as we go through our session, this is our first week. Everyone who's here today, your office uses our Real Office Assistant intranet service. And the Educational and Coaching Center is something new that we're doing. We're looking at my picture here. So the first thing is that these resources are available to you on a regular basis, and they're part of your company intranet. And everybody who participates in this, their contents will be updated twice a month. These webinars are a weekly session, and they're really intended to kind of start, to start you at a step and move you along. And we're keeping them short so that we're not interfering, I hope, with your day. And we truly appreciate you being here. And we look forward to your feedback, because every part of this service is intended for you. So let's take a look just briefly at what the Educational Center is and how you can access it and who is going to be with us today. When you go into the Educational Center, on your company intranet, your Real Office Assistant page, you will see, look at that, it's not on my favorites, so let's just go to our demo sites. What you're going to see is a little cap and diploma in your icon bar. You'll see it right here. And what this will allow you to do is when you click on this, you will go to the Real Office Assistant Educational and Coaching Center. And the Coaching Center is providing you with information on sales coaching. We have a company pending. Can't quite say who it is yet. I have a meeting with them today, and we certainly expect them to say yes. In fact, you could go a long ways. If you were to send us your thoughts and comments on today's webinar, I'll make those part of my discussion. So sales coaching, daily practices. This is with Real Life Real Estate Training, and this is Candy Miles Crocker back in Washington, D.C. Traffic is much easier for her right now. But a great organization that is really got lots of practical experiences. We have social networking, which is the second half of our session today. We did a survey of some 600 customers. Out of 600 of our customers, 85% felt social networking and Facebook specifically were essential to building local networks. And literally out of 600, 5 people, not 5%, 5 people felt they were using it effectively. So social networking is really aimed at helping you just get a footprint, right? Mobile apps. One of my favorite comments was a gentleman whose webinar I sat in on, and he said, don't be the realtor whose client knows more about your mobile applications than you do. So we have, working with us, is Amy Smythe-Harris, who has spoken at a number of industry trade shows, is an absolute expert across. In fact, it's funny, because I think of myself as being bright, and Amy, who's online, so she's hearing all these compliments and is probably blushing, is just, I thought I knew a lot about mobile apps. She makes me look like a piker. So I'm excited to sit in and listen to her feedback and listen to her conversations. We want you to be smarter than the consumer. And then also search engine optimization and blogging. Obviously, if you're online, you have to be found. And so I don't know that that's quite as riveting or fun as social networking and mobile apps and the things are kind of you get to play with, right? search engine optimization and doing your blog is kind of dry and mundane, but understanding those rules is how you get found. And that's critical. And then last but not least, all of us are reading more and more on real estate photography. In fact, there's a real fun post to go out on Facebook about bad real estate pictures. If you're being a professional, your pictures and the pictures you put up on any listings or any property or open houses, they should reflect that you are a professional as well. So these are the things that the Educational Center brings to bear. The content on each page, especially this middle section, will change twice a month or more, but at least twice a month, okay? And any time that you're listening to one of our experts and you want more information, well, their contact information is here. If you like what they're talking about and you want to subscribe to their services, you are free to do that, independently of us, okay? This service is here for you and to help you do a better job. Now, we're also, I apologize for the length of my intro, and I'll learn to shorten these up. Today will be a little different. This is our very first session, and as part of the Educational Center, we've all done webinars before, but as a team, this will be our first time. And so without any further ado, as the saying is, let me go ahead and I'll turn off my camera here now, and I'm going to pass things over to, I'm looking to see, someone was telling me they can't hear. Let's go back again. Can everybody hear me? Again, I saw a hand go up. So the deal is, if one person can hear me, we have to assume everybody can. So I appreciate all the hands going up. We're going to pass things over to Amy.
That's wonderful. And I love technology when it works. So we're going to have to do a background. So guys, welcome everybody. I'm mirroring from my Mac, my iPad to my Mac, and it looks like it's not showing on y'all's screen. Is that correct? Are you guys seeing it at all? I just had it up before while you were talking, and then it went away. You seen it?
I am, well, I'm seeing your icons on the bottom, Amy.
Yeah, but it's not, it just, I'm gonna AirPlay from my, see if I can just do it from my, see if this will work from my iPhone. If not, what we'll do is go ahead and I'll do some demos of some of the other stuff. All right, so it looks like nothing is mirroring for you guys. Can you see anything? All right, let's talk about how mobile apps can go wrong in front of clients. So what I wanted to focus on today was actually just foundational apps. One of the first things I ask clients is, please tell me what is your device that you have. So do you have an iPhone, Droid, do you have an iPad? And the reason why I want to know this is I need to know how to share information to them. Whether I need to send a contact to them, if I'm going to send it via vCard, or if I'm going to share contact, and if they're an iPhone user. So one of the first things I need to know is what device they have, and I also ask them to go ahead and give me, if they will go ahead and download certain apps. So on my website I have apps that I ask them to download in order to work with me. So just ideas for you. You can go pull those off. I'm going to try to keep mirroring here as we're talking. Ah, yay! Technology worked. So hopefully y'all can see my screen. Can y'all see this okay now? Bill, I'm kind of letting you let me know. All right, perfect.
Yep,
so now there's some foundational apps.
Amy, sorry to interrupt. We had a couple people send through and let us know, and I think it's going to hold true. iPhones, iPad, MacBook Pro. So I'm sure we have a good mix, but the Macintosh people have spoken up.
And okay, so they're asking what one to pick, or what one, is that what my question?
I think they're telling us what they're using.
Oh, okay. So that is Great. What I found, and I actually have a webinar that I talk about just building your mobile toolbox. I just went over to a Mac earlier in February, and I just decided to stay on Apple devices. It was worked for me. I've been in a iPhone since the first generation, so it is worked for me. All of the apps that I will talk about, I will always tell you if it's a Droid or a iPhone app only, so that way you always know. But your foundational apps that I wanted to go over today, remember this is just an overview, you have to have certain foundational apps just to be able to go paperless. So I'm a total paperless, digital, and virtual agent. A lot of times I never meet my clients ever in person. They've never meet me. I have showing agents that show, and everything is done virtually. So I can't do any of that stuff if I don't have certain foundational apps. So again, first thing is I ask them what they have, what kind of device they have. Second, I ask them to download some apps, and I do it in a nice way. I say, here's some apps just to kind of make the transition easier as we are working the real estate transaction. And so I give them a list, and then I can go to Dropbox, Evernote, and I annotate are some of my major ones that I use on an everyday basis. So I kind of want to show you what I'm talking about. And one that is on the Real Estate Office Assistant site is called Carbonite. One of the things I found is agents do not, and I know this sounds mean, and y'all aren't going to like me, but is Carbonite where y'all do not back up your computers. So what I'm asking everybody to do is find some program to back up their computer at home. And please understand what it backs up. If you don't understand what it backs up, then here's the problem. Is if you break an iPad or an iPhone or a Droid and they go, have you backed up your iPad? And you go, yes. Well, not really. So you need to understand what Carbonite backs up versus the cloud, what the cloud backs up on Apple. So I highly recommend that you spend some time and do that. I use Carbonite as my backup system. There's a lot of them out there. There's Iron Mountain, Mosey, tons of different ones. I stuck with Carbonite. I normally stick with an app if I like it and it stays fresh and a kind of more cutting edge. So Carbonite allows me to pull any document off of my computer via my iPad or iPhone. And the reason why this is good is because it allows me to restore. So this is from a girl that was a PC user that lost 3 hard drives in a year. When I say lost, they were corrupt. So I had to restore every time. So I get a lot of people go, why do you Carbonite and not just use Dropbox? Dropbox does not allow me to restore. So Carbonite just backs up in the background. It's my safety net, if you will, but it also allows me to send out pictures and actually remote log into my computer if I need it. So let me show you the next foundational app that I know most of you guys probably are starting to use, because if you're a cloud-based person, you've been using it, is Dropbox. Now with the iOS 7, I've been noticing quite a few issues with Dropbox, so just kind of be patient with it. But what I use Dropbox for, so let's go back. Carbonite is my attic, and in my workflow, I would close deals and I would put them in file folders, put them in a banker's box, and at the end of the year, I'd put them in the attic. So Carbonite is my attic that I can go back to after it's closed. I thought of Dropbox as my briefcase. So when I first started using Dropbox, and this is an idea for those that are not wanting to pay for Dropbox space, is when I was working just an active deal only, my little file folder that I used to have in the little standing wire racks, and I would put in my briefcase to go out during the day, now my file folder is just in Dropbox. So I would move it in and out of Dropbox. So Dropbox became my mobile briefcase, my file briefcase. And I'd only do it with active transactions that I was currently working. And then when they closed, I would move them out of Dropbox back to my computer to free up Dropbox space until I earned more Dropbox. Now, you'll see I have all of my deals. You'll see a lot of these are my current deals that I'm still working. What is the beauty of Dropbox? I use it, and some people don't want to use it this way, and that just depends on what you're doing, is I deal with a lot of engineers. So I like to share files with them, to share the folders. So if you'll see on 10 Leaf Spring, I shared the folder with my client, and you'll see people next to them, so that they're only getting what I want them to have. So what I was having a problem with is I would email them title commitments and copies of the HUD and all of those things, and then they would never take them out of their emails, and so then they would hound me for them, and I would never take them out of my email. So I was struggling where things were and kind of organizing myself. So I just want to kind of show you, here's one I shared, tax rolls, and I just shared it with the seller on this property. And so I can email all this to them. I can pull up any of this information, original agent report when it's sold. So I have access to all of this information right at my fingertips. And so it's on my computer, it's on my iPad, on my iPhone. If I had a Droid, I could pull this all up. So it gives you some ideas of different ways I use Dropbox. And also you can create a folder. I don't know if you saw what I did up here. You can create a folder and you can edit folders. So I share folders a lot with all my clients, and I only put in there what they need. Now this is not a Dropbox class, but I just wanted to tell you that. Dropbox, they can delete stuff out of the Dropbox. So I just want to give everybody a heads up on that before you start. If they delete something out of the Dropbox, you can go to Dropbox.com and see the deleted items, and so don't sweat it, it's okay. So these are what I do on a daily basis, and when I go out to show, so let's say I was going to go out to show this property, I'm going to come over here and download it, and I'm going to open in, and there's this app called iAnnotate, which is my next app. I want everybody to take note of these two, iAnnotate and PDF Expert. Those are the most robust PDF editing programs on iPad and iPhone and Droid. Droid people, I don't believe iAnnotate has come to your platform yet, so if I'm wrong, I apologize. PDF Expert is the go-to. There's another one that's called Neo, N-E-U .annotate. So just kind of find your favorite one and use that. So let's say I was going out to show this property. You'll notice at the top I open it in Dropbox because Dropbox requires an internet connection. iAnnotate allows me not to have to worry about an internet connection. So you'll see at the top, so how I used to do this is what I had my file folders, and I would put my showings in order of going to show. Well, now I have them here, and then I can go back and forth between different properties that we're seeing. I pull tax records before we go look. I pull archive history, so I have all that information before I go. Just if I'm ready to answer any question, but by being in iAnnotate, I don't have to worry about internet connection. I can quit, and sometimes Dropbox takes a time to load in. So you'll see actually how I used it in a real life situation. What's cool about iAnnotate is I was old school. I've been selling real estate for 18 years and still am. I used to write at the top of my showing reports, the agent report, and I'd write at the top of them the showing instructions. Well, I can still do that by just coming over here on the right-hand side. You'll see where it says a typewriter. And so I can still write my showing instructions, or let's say I'm at the property, I'm like, ooh, yucky, smell. And the cool thing about doing that, when I need to then do showing instruction feedback, I can just come into iAnnotate, I can copy that, and then quickly send it out. So it's very efficient. I'm very much about time efficiency. And if you have a form, so let's say hypothetically, again, this is dealing in hypotheticals, and some of y'all have different states, but in my state, we are required to give them a disclosure about working with us. So some of y'all may have that. So I had them sign on my screen. So it is called an information about brokerage services, and I know a lot of states have these. So what I do is I open it in iAnnotate, and so when I'm out talking with a client in person, if I am in person with them, I have them sign, and there's a little pencil over here, and so then they can sign on the screen, date it, and then when they're done, I can then email it straight from my iPad to them and to me, and we all have a copy of it. So that's a quick Amy tip there. Here's an Amy tip too. If you're letting your people sign on your screen on your iPads, there's a new stylus. It's called Jot Stylus, and you can just Google it. You can find them in Walmart, anywhere. They're about $30. But it has a very, very thin line, so you're going to get better reading. I call this the UPS signature, but with a jot you can get pretty good on that. So, okay, so I annotate, allows me to annotate. Dropbox is my briefcase. Carbonite is my attic. And again, this is my workflow just of how I work. And I know a lot of agents are similar. And then the last one is called Evernote. And Evernote is my brain. I'm old. I cannot remember everything anymore. And I will tell you, I thought this was the stupidest thing when I first started using Evernote. But Evernote equated to me in my workflow is this. I used to write all the outside of the folder when I would go with a client. So I would do manila folders, have all my showing instructions in there, all the contracts in there, and then I would go like on a listing agreement, listing presentation, and I would write all the outside of the folder. Well, that became difficult because then I had to go and try to read my writing. So once I started using Evernote in my system, so as soon as I get a new client, I create a folder in Dropbox for them, and then I create a notebook in Evernote for them. So that way everything is there. And you'll notice like on this one, you can, if you have a premium membership in Evernote, it's here. So a lot of people ask me, how is this different than this notes section here on your phone? For me, it's more robust. I can make notes in here. I can do, so let me show you a quick one that I use. Here's one of my clients that's getting showings today that was showing yesterday. So if you'll see, I was sharing this folder with my showing assistant. I put everything in order, and then down at the bottom, I had all of the instructions straight in Evernote, and then I can share this with everybody. So they had all the agent reports, and it was all attached in here. Another cool thing of how I use it, and I go further into this on my Evernote webinars, but I use it for sellers, buyers. You can attach documents to it. You can have a new note. You can set reminders in here. And I actually have been working with one of the Evernote developers on some things that we would like to see. They're going to develop something for my brokerage firm that I have. So different things that you can be using. So Evernote is my brain. Every little thing that goes in here, so I can go back and find it later. Here's a quick Amy tip to start using Evernote is start writing down your FAQs. So every time that you are emailing something more than once or talking to somebody more than once about it, do that. So what is the tax rate? And so how to find a lender? What is the current interest rate? How's the market? And you can send them to websites. Here's a quick one that I will show you, and then I think my time is up. But working with buyers, okay? So I got so tired of saying, what are the out-of-pocket expenses so I just typed it in here. Anytime a potential client comes to me and wants to use me, as soon as I get the lead from them, I go into Evernote and I send this introduction to them. And it's already set up so I don't waste time typing it, and it gives them an informational video about me. I have a thing, and maybe, Bill, we can do it on another webinar, is I have an online listing presentation and buyer presentation that I normally send with them that turns it into an online magazine. It's a free site, so I don't have to print off anything. And then I give them the apps, and then I also tell them I'll be sending you a TimeBridge meeting notice to decide on time that we can meet to see homes, or to Skype, FaceTime, or Google Hangout once we get the pre-approval letter. Happy house hunting. So I have this all ready to go. So again, these will be in detail with Bill's group, or come visit me on a webinar. Today I'll be doing a webinar at 1 Pacific time about time management tips and tricks of how I run 3 companies and do it virtually. So I think, Bill, we're out of time, I'm assuming. Any questions that they want, Bill?
I don't see any questions yet. So I'm keeping my eyes open for it. I'm making notes as we go. And again, with this being, it's interesting because with this being our first webinar, and our desire is really to, have, 2 topics and, kind of spoon-sized bites. But gosh, it's interesting because there's an awful lot that you talk about that I wish we had more time. So,
well, and we can delve into it later too. One quick One quick thing, Bill, I didn't talk about is the MLS. And everybody asks me about that should be a foundational app. Well, the problem is there's no rhyme or reason with the MLSs out there, so a lot of them are not mobile friendly. So if they are interested in that, then they can reach out to me and I'll talk with them. I know a lot of the MLS vendors personally, so I can try to tell them workarounds. Unfortunately, sometimes I just don't have a good answer for them. There's a lot I try as workarounds, but they're more than welcome to reach out to me individually.
You got it. And the contact information, I'll make sure we show everybody at the end again how to get a hold of you.
Perfect.
Because we want them to use the tools that are built in, so we will do that. And you guys, today, I know when we talked with Amy about her time today, we asked her to pick, 2 or 3 what she thought were these foundational applications, okay? And that's why she picked the Dropbox, Carbonite, and Evernote. And we could have just as easily said, pick one, right? And let's really look at how to use it. Well, we will be doing those things in the future. We felt that with today being our inaugural session, we really wanted to start laying some groundwork. Everything will continue to build and build and build. So we appreciate that time. And we are now going to switch to the second part of our session. And this is the social networking. Todd, you're there? Oh, I see you here. Hello, Todd. We're going to go ahead and I can see him on the list, so we will make him the presenter. And if he stepped away for a brief moment.
If not, I can give him some other apps in the meantime as Todd gets on that they may want to look into.
Well, let's see what happens.
Okay.
Hey, Todd, are you back at your computer? Well, let's do this for a brief moment. Let me show you. So I'm the presenter here again. You're looking at my screen, everybody. This is Bill. Oh, Todd just sent me a quick notice that he has no audio at the moment. Excuse me, I'm sorry, everybody. One moment.
While you do that, do you want me to give him some couple other apps that would be helpful?
We might, but I think he'll be back on here in just 1 second. Okay. So what I want to do right here is go over again, how do you get this information, right? Everything that we're giving to you. One, we're recording today's session, flaws and all. It'll be reposted for you to be able to see and follow up on, and there will be continuing content. You'll be able to ask questions. So it's not, as an example, this isn't the traditional, I'm at a webinar and you're kind of dumped off and think about it on your own. This truly is an ongoing program. So I want you to know the URL right here. Right? I want you to know the RealOA educenter.com/homepage.html. This is a start point for you, okay? Now, if you have our Real Office Assistant Agent page, then you've got direct links, and it's all much easier. But in the meantime, if you come over here and go to About the EDU Team, you'll see contact information for everybody that is part of the program. So I know that I have a desire right now. I mean, literally, when Amy says that she has a session today at 1 o'clock, I'm looking at my calendar and I'm going, hey, do I have time? Can I sneak into that and listen in? Even if I can't give it dedicated and if I can't give it 100% of my attention, I'm thinking with what I just heard that I want to hear a little bit more. So if you click, here's the info, right? This gets you to her website and everything else that you're going to want to look at and be aware of. Okay? Todd, were you able to get back on with audio? Well, there we go. Technology. Amy, if I hand things back over to you for a moment, would you want to continue on, I guess, maybe Evernote, or I'll leave it up to you?
We can do whatever you want on there. One of the things, so let me go ahead and start reflecting back. All right, so a couple of apps that the iOS 7 has been a beautiful update, and I'm saying that sarcastically, but one of the things that I do with my agents, and this is something that you can do with your clients, is there's an app called join.me, and so I can show them my screen. I can do it from the app. So I don't know if anybody would need that for trainers out there. I don't know how many trainers we have, or people that are just, join.me is a good one, or TeamViewer. If you have to, maybe you're the tech person in the household and you need to be doing everything and for other people like your elderly parents or something like that. TeamViewer allows you to remotely log into them. There's a log me in, but so I use join.me to show an agent, maybe they're not getting what I'm talking about on their computer. So I use join.me to do that. So I can do it from my iPad, my iPhone, if I had a Droid, I could do it from my Mac or my PC. Here's another foundational app that I wanted to show you guys. It's called DocuSign Inc. Everybody's using different digital signing programs. It doesn't matter to me what one you use, but I use DocuSign Inc. really heavily, which is part of DocuSign. They just kind of renamed it and revamped it. And so for me, I like it because you can create your signature down here. You can adopt that. I can pull in anything from the computer and adopt. So I can have everything from my emails and sign in DocuSign. So let's say, hypothetically, you had an email attachment. It was like a one-page amendment that maybe you had to sign. You can do all of that using DocuSign Inc. There's a lot of them out there. I use Sign Now, Sign Easy. But I keep coming back to DocuSign because not only can I sign an attachment from an email, I can also send that attachment out for signatures. So if you'll see up on the left-hand side, I'll be sign and send. The cool thing about DocuSign Inc., I can go add a document and it'll look at all the different places. So if you're using Google Drive or Dropbox, I can do it from Photos, I can do it from Box, so I can do it from my mail as well. So let's say in Dropbox I had something that, oh my gosh, we forgot to get signed, we missed an initial on a contract. No big deal. As you guys are seeing, it's accessing Dropbox. And so, again, same screen. So the reason I talk about these foundational apps so much is because most of the big vendors that are coming out with stuff are all looking at integrating with these tools. So, and Evernote has a lot more stuff that is coming out as well. And again, in a class, so let's say I need to get 16 Bigelow Oak signed for some reason. Let's say I needed the seller's disclosure signed. Right from DocuSign Inc., I can send it out for digital signatures. So I'm going, okay, that's what I want, and then add the documents. So, and then it will be in there. So here's the thing, I can sign it right there on the screen, or I need to send it for signature. So that's when I would send it to my buyers to sign. So the nice thing is I don't have to go back to my computer. So I don't know if that helped at all. So I just want to throw DocuSign Inc. and then also find a scanning program that you like to use. Droid people, yours is TurboScan or Cam Scanner. I prefer JotNot Pro. So my phone or my iPad or your Droid can be a fax machine. So like I have one piece of paper that I had to do a cancellation form on something and they would not allow it to be digital signatures. So I had to print it off and I have to sign it in real life. Well, I don't have a fax machine, so I'm just going to open the JotNot Pro app, take a photo of it. In the program, it turns it into a PDF, and then I can fax it straight from my phone. So that's JotNot Pro, and then TurboScan or Cam Scanner for the Droids. iPhone people, you can also use Cam Scanner and TurboScan. So just find one that will make a multi-page PDF. So those are some different ones for you guys. Bill, how we're doing? Did Todd get audio back?
Yeah, actually, we have a couple of things.
Yeah.
One, there was a question with DocuSign. This is an actual question. You showed, DocuSign is electronic signatures. And you
Correct.
had a product that you showed, I think it was iAnnotate, that you were able to draw.
Correct.
Right? They could write their signature. Is there a difference on those legally?
Okay, so here's the thing. Yeah. When I do iAnnotate, legally, electronic signatures are legally and binding. Here's the problem that you're going to face with those. So this is iAnnotate. Here's the problem that you'll face. If you are doing foreclosures or short sales, the banks won't accept them. What I have found on foreclosures is that I will submit the offer digitally, and I will tell the listing agent, I know that the bank's going to require wet signatures, but will you just take the as part of the offer? And most of the foreclosure banks that I've dealt with will take it on the offer, but if you are the winning bid, then they do want wet signatures. So legally, both are binding on those. So
okay, that was a question, so I appreciate it. And then for everybody that's here, unfortunately, Todd, for some reason, he's able to listen in, but he's having some network issues on his side, so he's up and down. Now, the other thing is that in our goal to be timely to your day and to create these 40-minute sessions, we're coming up against our promised, deadline, and we think that that's important. It's important for us to know that we need to be honorable to that, and we also want you, as you continue to attend future webinars that are part of the Educational and Coaching Center, we want you to know that, hey, we're starting at, the assigned time, and we're going to be about 40 minutes, so that you can plan the rest of your day accordingly. We know sitting in on a webinar is not the same as being on the phone making prospecting calls, right? I mean, there was a guy that did a 90-minute seminar, and it was crazy because he started out with, the audience he started with, he didn't have them at the end of 90 minutes. So our goal, as we continue down the road on this, is to be timely and effective to your day. So with that, we're going to table. We're going to come back to the Facebook stuff later. So for everyone who was here today for the Facebook stuff, I truly do apologize. Let's go take a look again briefly. And I'm taking control back before we let everybody go. On your Real Office Assistance network, okay? And some of these things for you, you have your company document library here. So there may be, documents that you open here, you might want to put them into your own Dropbox. You might want to put them onto your own Evernote as you work with customers, okay? But all of these pieces, as time goes on, will help you understand how everything fits together and the benefits of your think of it as a fully connected office, right? We also want to remind you that you have the EDU Center fully accessible to you at this little cap and diploma. So when you click on this, it obviously takes you to the home page of the Educational Center. Now there's something here that I want you to do for us. So this is important that you follow our little instructions, my little instructions, as it were. And what is that? Well, I want you to go to, I'll have to remember the page here for a moment. You can either go to the Contact Us, okay, or I think it's the webinar page. Well, look at that. I'm going to have to wander around a little bit, so I apologize. I thought we had a form up here. There's you know what it is? Tell us your thoughts. It's on every page. Tell us your thoughts. We would like to get your feedback. On any page of the EDU Center, there's a button that says, tell us your thoughts. And I would like you to go here, and I would like you to just submit this form. It will come to me, and I would like to know how you thought today went, right? I know we had the technical glitch. That's an obvious downside. So the good stuff, the bad stuff. We also are trying hard not to make this a PowerPoint show, right? We may have times when PowerPoint is, we can't avoid it. But we want to show you the real tools. And sometimes that's just not as exciting, right? You can make a PowerPoint slide that's very jazzy. But when we take the time to log on to an app and we show you something live and real, it may not have the same kind of marketing juice, but we're not about marketing this to you. We're about showing you the program, okay, that we think help you do your job that little more effectively. Like Amy was talking about, she works with virtually all her clients in a remote fashion with an assistant, and yet they're fully connected through Evernote. Okay, the client has access to everything, and these are free programs. So I'd like you to go to RealOA EDU Center, right, and then just find the button that says, what do you think? And I will hope, I know how many people are here today, so I would love to see 100% of you send that form in to me at some point, some course of the day today. Now the other thing is, well, I guess actually I don't mean to keep jabbering. You know what? Let's make this the end. We're at 40 minutes, a little slightly over, and we appreciate your time. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Amy right now? We are going once. I don't see any hands raised.
Wow, normally I get a lot of questions.
I never know if a webinar where there's no questions. Well, we had the one question about the signatures. And I'm going to take a quick look here and see if anybody has any hands raised or anything. I don't see anything. So you guys are either the most informed audience or you're all off doing something else as well a little bit. But listen, we appreciate your time. I get Eddie, thank you very much. He said, excellent info. So we do appreciate it. But Eddie, I think you were the first one to log in today. So, the last thing, since again, most of the folks out there are using Real Office Assistant, how can you get closer to what's going on? I hope you don't think of this as a commercial. That we have agent pages available now. And what does this allow you to do? This allows you to take this whole second icon bar. So the top icon bar, the events list, and the announcement center, that's your company homepage. But on the agent page, you get your own row of icons. And this is, again, this works on any platform, right? This is on your work computer, your own computer at home. This is on your smartphone, your pad, right? Your tablet. And you could have right here, can be your Dropbox login, right? This can be your Carbonite icon login. So the tools and things that we talk about, we want them to be more accessible to you. And the other thing is that, you know, if I want to get to the latest information from, oh look, my demo's tight. I will fix that. Amy, I've not added right to put this page together. Amy wasn't on board yet. But you'll be able to click right on, as an example, an icon to go to Amy's content, okay, to go to mobile apps and see what she's talking about this week. So that's the agent page. And if you have questions, just let us know. And that's it, everybody. Listen, you have a great day. Thank you for being here. We're going to end the session right now. And I have another comment, a couple of comments came in to simply say, thanks for the info, very informative. There's a third one. Again, good webinar. Thank you for the information. Everybody have a good day. Go make some transactions. Bye-bye. Hang on one second there, Todd and Amy. Oh, Amy left. Here, hang on, hey, Todd. Oh, you can hear, but you can't talk.